Hello fellow survivors, I'm here today to talk to you about an app that you may not know exists, which can help you through the long dark. An app that has all the maps and item information that you might need to survive the quiet apocalypse. This app is called Extended Night Companion. Let's go through how it works. The Extended Night Companion, or just Extended Night as I call it, is an app made by Brooks Becton, and you can find this app in your Google Play or on the iPhone. However, you can also go online and go on a website version of it, which is just extendednightcompanion.com. There are a couple of differences though. It's meant to be used on the phone, not online. This companion will make things a bit easier for you because it keeps a lot of essential information in one place. Before I start though, let me just emphasize that this video isn't sponsored. I just thought maybe you should know that this app exists and you might find it useful. I'm just going through it. Brooks Becton, who did make the app, is someone you can contact if you like via the Facebook group, the Long Dark Gaming Community, where he is a member. So if you'd like to join that group, I'll put a link in the description below. And of course, I will put links to this app in the description as well, along with the app stores. So with regards to the map itself, let's hop in and see how it works. It's pretty straightforward, really. When you open it, you get 4 different things. You have maps, trophies, items, and journal, and these provide exactly what you think they do. If you go on maps, you get an overview of all the regions in the game, and you can see different types of maps for those regions. So for example, if you go to Coastal Highway, you now can choose between different types of maps. So you can do, for example, a spoiler-free map. If you click on that, you're given this type of map, which shows you the layout of Coastal Highway, but it doesn't really tell you what's where. So it's just a way for you to look up what the map, terrain would be like without actually ruining the loot experience. Alternatively, you could do the Explorer map, which is a different version of the same. It says where things are, but not where you find different items. So this is something you can use to kind of plan your way around, but it provides a little bit more information than just the spoiler-free map. And of course, you have the complete map, which is the standard maps, the Whiteberry maps, as we call them, which these days are very often made by Santana. And this shows everything in the area. So it will show you, for example, like where there are rabbits and where wolves tend to frequent and bears, what sort of loot you could find in different areas, and so on. So this is a great resource for anyone who would like to know the maps by looking them up. Of course, let me emphasize 2 things before I say anything else. The first is that if you want to learn the maps in Long Dark, it's better to go out there and just learn them by experience, not looking up the maps, because it's very hard to remember everything. However, if you are lost and you're looking for a specific item, it might be worth looking up maps and then seeing where you are and where to go. But I wouldn't use it as a learning resource, rather use it as something to find out where you are and where to go. Another thing I'll just point out is that these maps are not made by the app developer themselves. These maps are taken from the Steam community that updates these maps. You can also find copies of these maps on the Steam page called Detailed Region Maps, which is updated regularly. And you can find pretty much all of the maps here as well. And you can just download them if you like. At the moment, there's a bug where if you click on them, it gives you an error, but you can right click instead and open in a new tab, and then you get the map that way, just so you know. But yeah. But in the map itself, in the app itself, you can find all of these maps. This include connector regions and all sorts of stuff. So for example, in these maps, you can tell that there aren't connector regions, but if you click again on Coastal Highway, you'll see there are connector regions here. So you'll have things like the Old Island connector, and you can click on, say, complete, and you get the small map for this region as well. Isn't that handy? There's even maps for things like caves where available. So things like you can click for example, the Cinder Hills coal mine that connects between Pleasant Valley and Coastal Highway. You can click on that and you get a map of the cave. Some people get lost in caves, particularly in Schryver Valley, which we could actually check out for illustration purposes if you go to Schryver Valley. And there you have the ice caves, right? So you can click on that and here you just get maps of the caves themselves. So that's quite handy, isn't it? So that's one of the features that this app provides, just one easy way that you can collect all the maps and find out where you are. Another thing it does is an item overview, where you can choose different categories and it will tell you the gist of those items. For example, if you click on food, it will give you an overview of all the food items in the game and tell you what they do. So it will tell you the amount of calories. For example, bear meat gives 900 calories. I believe that's the default, by the way. If you level up cooking, of course, it gives more calories. It also gives you the loss of hydration or the gain of hydration, which isn't actually in the game. That's something you just have to observe. So if you ever want to look anything up, you can do that. You can also search for it by typing in, ketchup or something. Oh, I can't spell ketchup. And then it tells you what it is. So it's a handy feature in that sense. Notice, by the way, that it's in pounds. You can change that in the settings in the phone app or in this app by just clicking on, you guessed it, settings. And then you go up here on measurements and you can change from the Fahrenheit pound system to Celsius and kilograms if you like, and change that. And then when you go back to items now, let's go on tools, it will tell you how much it weighs in kilos. So that's another thing that you can have in this app. And then, of course, we have the trophies, which is exactly what you think it is. It's just an overview of the different trophies in the game. It tells you what they are, including the hidden ones, which I won't show you right now. You can find out that yourself. But these are some of the trophies in the game. And it even has a completion system. So if you've done some of these trophies, you can click on them and say that you've done them. And then it will come over in your completed tab and it will say, oh, you've done these. So it's easier to keep track of the achievements you want. And then finally, we have the journal. And the journal is a way to track different things you want. The journal, and by the way, the app as a whole is meant to be used on the phone. So I'm going to show you footage of the phone instead. Because if you do it on the website, it tends to be quite buggy. And that's because on the website, you don't really have a user that stores this stuff. But on the phone, you do have a user. It's your user, your Google Play or Apple user. So what you can do is you can click on Journal, and then you can add an entry. And it gives you a default entry, which is Pleasant Valley. And it's a little bit of clicking, but you can then edit whatever you want. You can change the location of what you're doing, including precise location in the region you're talking about. You can edit the day that you're on to specify when this happened. And then after you put in the day, you can actually add items if you like. You can add that you, for example, are talking about specific items. For example, fleece clothing that you forgot or something like that. You can add those to the list. This could be a really handy way for a lot of players to keep inventory. You might add that your main base has these items, for example. Or then in addition, you can put a note and then you can write in here what happened that day or put some note to yourself. And you can look at that later to keep track of things. This is a very handy way for players to keep track of their inventory, particularly on lower difficulties where you have a lot of it. So you might have to write down everything that you have in one base so that you can remember what you left there for when you go somewhere else. That's what this app does. So that is the Extended a Night companion. It's a great app. I can tell a lot of people don't know about it because it doesn't have that many downloads. You can find this information other places, of course, but what the app does is puts it all together, and it also adds a tracking feature and a journal. So this can be a very handy companion, particularly if you want to look something up, and if suddenly there's a specific item you're looking for and you can't remember exactly the information or exactly where that spawns, you can look it up and just browse and on the map you need and find it. So it's a great little companion to have. You don't need to use it, of course, but it's something that could be handy. And I'll, of course, again, put links in the description to where you can get this app. Whether you use it or not is, of course, up to you. But I thought I'd let you all know that this does exist, and it appears to still be updated relatively frequently, and it's still a working good app. So yeah, with that in mind, thank you, survivors. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you found this video useful. See you next time.